Ho, ho, ho. There we go. All right, that's all. Titles. Should be good. Yo and hello, happy holidays and all of that great stuff. Hope everybody is well and fantastic. Yeah, if you can't tell by the title, we're just gonna do a little thing right before the actual the next storm that's coming up. It's about 30 minutes. So instead of just loading in and just standing there for 30 minutes, I figured we'd just do a little movie. I figured that'd be fun. So yeah, that is our plan. Well, that's my plan anyways. I hope everybody is absolutely fantastic on this amazing, amazing holiday day. Oh, I am nice and fat and ready to play some games. Tell you what. But yeah. Man. I'm gonna tell you though, like it's been like 20 degrees every day for the last 3 days. And like Southern Alabama, that's pretty dang cold. And and it is like 45 degrees today, and it was like the great thaw. You know, there was like people at Walmart with shorts on, like fucking slow down, guys. Oh Lord, it was a day. I'll tell you what. Oh, but you know, it is another day. Christmas is winding down. I hope everybody got what they want for Christmas. Even if it was just spending time with the family, I'm sure that was just as pleasant for everybody else. But anywho, yeah, I think we're gonna get into it. I am really excited about this. This is something that I should say that it is something that I have a lot of interest in. You know, I really do. It's just it's very interesting to me. Red Harlow is one of those guys that you know, one of those guys that um that is like it was kind of like his story and everything is was kind of vague to me because I didn't play the first one. I didn't play Red Dead Revolver. So I wasn't really sure um kind of the lore uh behind Red Dead Revolver. And then after playing Red Dead Redemption 2, I found out that there was like this weird like conspiracy in a sense with the uncle, which is one of my favorite characters in Red Dead Redemption. Like I said, it's 30 minutes before the storm, so I figured, hey, before jumping in the game, might as well crack into this is Uncle the Red Harlow kind of conspiracy because I think it's just freaking absolutely hilarious, or at least interesting in my opinion. So, anyways, yeah, we're gonna get into that in here in a second. But again, I hope everybody is doing absolutely fantastic and well, and is having a good, safe, warm holiday during these days, and has some good plans for from the new year too. I hope. But yeah. Ah, man. So yeah, kind of excited about this. Again, like I said, it is a character that I was very fond of. So I'm actually excited to actually watch this because, like I said, it is pretty interesting. Just giving it a couple of minutes, just in case there are some people that kind of roll in every once in a while, a few minutes after the stream starts. So I figure give them a few minutes. This way, if they do want to watch the video, they're not missing anything. Alrighty, I am all set up actually. I think I'm ready to go. Yeah. All right, let's get into it. Be-doo-doo. Alrighty. Yeah, for those who have like any interesting like kind of like Red Dead Redemption, kind of like stories or conspiracies or like interesting things, send them my way. I absolutely love freaking looking at these things. They're super fun. All right. That being said, I think we're gonna get it going. All right. Whoop! I'm on my OBS. On my YouTubes. All right, here we go.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red...
Oh yeah, so yeah, usually I watch another YouTuber, but this guy, I feel like he does a better explanation of what I think. More follows what I feel about Uncle. So yeah, it's not that long. It's only 11 minutes. So.
Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we're going to be talking about Uncle's secret identity. And is he actually the legendary gunslinger Red Harlow from the first Red Dead game? Okay, so before we can get started, we need to talk about who Red Harlow is, because I'm sure there's going to be a handful of you guys watching this video that have no idea who that is. So Red Harlow is the main protagonist and primary playable character of Red Dead Revolver, the first Red Dead game, and probably the least known just because of when it came out. Now, a little bit of background on Red Harlow. He is the only known son of Nate Harlow, a gold miner, and his wife, Falling Star. And through his mother, he is a descendant of the Red Wolf Native Americans tribe, and one of the grandchildren of Running Moon, the tribe's current chief. Now, I'm not going to go over Red Harlow's entire story, but essentially when he was young, his father and mother were killed by a pair of outlaws and bandits. And Red actually confronts the killer and their leader, Darren. And as Darren mocked...
I freaking liked her as a character. Like, I just loved her sass. I love her interactions with Arthur. Pardon me. She was just a fun character in general.
Red's father and mother, Red Harlow grabs his father's revolver, which is engulfed in flames, and shoots Darren's left arm, severing it. The molten metal of the revolver would scar Red Harlow's right hand palm. And essentially after that, he would grow up to become an experienced gunslinger and a dreaded bounty hunter. Now, that moment where he gets revenge on his father's killer is important. He takes a revolver, he shoots one bullet, and he ends up hurting this infamous bandit leader. And many people called him the One-Shot Kid. Now, again, we're not going to go over all the details.
That is one of the coolest nicknames, right? The One-Shot Kid. Kind of reminds me of the Cherokee Kid. If you guys know the reference.
Of his life, but it is unknown what happened to his story after Red Dead Revolver. According to the official Wikipedia page, it says where Red went after this story and the rest of his life is unknown and untold. So we don't know if he's still alive, or we don't know what happened to him after Red Dead Revolver. And in case you guys are wondering where it takes place, Red Dead Revolver is set in the 1880s. So that means it would be roughly a couple of years before Red Dead Redemption 2 takes place.
Right.
Maybe like 10, 11, 12 years. Just something to keep in mind right there. Now, since the release of Red Dead Revolver, Red Harlow has actually never appeared in another Red Dead title. Not in Red Dead Redemption and not in Red Dead Redemption 2. However, he is mentioned several times throughout campfire stories that you can actually listen to, both in Red Dead Redemption and in Red Dead Redemption 2.
You a bounty hunter, mister?
I have been. Why?
No offense, I just know the type. I done some myself a couple years back. Like most things in life, it don't live up to the billing. And my brother, he's dead now, but he used to tell me stories about Red Harlow.
Yep.
Yep, you probably heard of him. Legendary bounty hunter bringing the savage outlaws of the frontier to justice. Man who watched his parents get murdered in front of him as a boy, but who uses that pain to become a better man and ultimately to wreak his vengeance. I don't know. Bounty hunting never felt like that to me. Nothing heroic about riding for 3 days to turn in some low-down chicken thief. Nothing easy in this life, so I can't sit around all day.
This country used to be built of sterner stuff than it is today. Only 30 years back, there was men here in these parts would stand up to authority.
Very good, very good.
You heard of that Red Harlow fella? He was one of those men. stood up to every man who blocked his path, Mexican army included. Nearly cost him his life, but he did.
Unglaublich.
You never know who's listening out there, do you?
So even though he never actually appears in any of these titles, and specifically Red Dead Redemption 2, which would have been a little bit closer to when his story took place, the only time we actually hear of him is in tales told by campfire encounters. And the tales of him are basically this incredible bounty hunter that was super feared by a lot of people. Now, the reason this story of Red Harlow suddenly became interesting was because of the PC version of Red Dead Redemption 2. One of the characters that you can actually spawn in has the name Red Harlow. So using an in-game trainer, if we actually change the model of our character, you can see here that it's U_M_M story Red Harlow 01. And when people discovered this in the files, they figured that the legendary bounty hunter and gunslinger Red Harlow might have actually just been hidden within the files of the game. However, as we spawn him in, you'll notice that Red Harlow is not the legendary gunslinger from the first Red Dead title, but is instead the guy who actually tells us the story about Red Harlow in Red Dead Redemption 2. It's the same guy that can be found by the campfire. So I guess Rockstar just got a little bit lazy with the naming of this character, and they didn't call him like, generic male or campfire male, but instead named him specifically Red Harlow, I guess based off of the story that he actually tells. So with all of that information right there, it's safe to assume that
I'm just saying that walk he has, there's a lot of swag in that walk. Yeah, but where the walk was a lady man.
Harlow could be dead. He also could be alive. There aren't any clues that suggest he's one or the other. And how his fate goes in Red Dead Redemption 2, I guess, is still going to remain a mystery. Now, one of the more interesting theories surrounding Red Harlow, especially after the release of Red Dead Redemption 2, is that Red Harlow is actually Uncle. And when I first heard this theory, I was definitely a little bit skeptical because you don't think of Uncle as like a legendary gunslinger and a bounty hunter. You sort of just kind of see him as a funny freeloader that hangs out with the Vanderlyn gang and then ends up living with John Marston in Red Dead Redemption. However, there are a couple of interesting things about Uncle that suggest he might be tied to Red Harlow. The first is a very interesting nickname that he was apparently called when he was a young kid. And he actually explains this in one of the first missions that you can do in Chapter 2.
Bear's always on the right. Sure you can pick up some bounties there, Arthur.
Heaven forbid you put your head on the line.
Yeah, that's a young man's game.
So that's how you see yourself, is it? A maniac? Well, in my youth, I used to be known as the one-shot kid. Okay. I'm not gonna ask why.
So as you heard there, when Uncle was a kid and when he was talking about bounties, he was specifically called the one-shot kid, which is very similar to Red Harlow's story of taking his father's revolver from the fire and ending up injuring the killer of his mother and father, which ultimately earned him the title of the one-shot kid. So that is an interesting comparison right there. I wonder if Rockstar just did that as an Easter egg or if there's a better comparison here. Now, the only problem with that is the age gap here. Now, we don't know how old Uncle is in Red Dead Redemption 2, but he's certainly not a young man. In fact, really the only time in which the gang talks about Uncle's age is in a side mission that you can do in Chapter 4, where Arthur can actually go rustle some cattle with Uncle, and he will reveal this.
I mean, that ain't gonna do your health no good if they find out you ride with us.
Nah, it's fine. I was never there at the same time as you boys, and they'd never reckon on a distinguished old feller like me running with a bunch of reprobates.
Well, just be careful. How old are you, anyway?
Well, let's just say I was born sometime between the fall of 49 and the fall of Rome.
So this is something interesting that I found, right? So between the fall of 49 and the fall of Rome, all right? So we'll go ahead and click on this. Yeah. So he would be 9 years old. Right? This, I don't know. This is, just saying.
And my second wife always used to describe me as ageless, though she did leave me for a younger man. Maybe we should cut you open and count the rings of whiskey. I'm ready for my retirement, though. Let me tell you. You've been pretty much retired from the moment I met you. I mean the tropics, you know, the real deal.
The real
What
deal.
Dutch is talking about. That's why I jumped on this opportunity. The sooner we get enough money to leave, the better. Dancing girls with flowers in their hair, warm sand, cold beer. That's how I'm gonna see out my days. Well, I'll believe it when I see it.
So even in that mission, Uncle wasn't very specific about his age. He said he was, you know, born between the fall of 49 and the fall of Rome, whatever that's supposed to mean. So I think the age gap here is obviously too different for Uncle to actually be Red Harlow. He's also lacking a lot of features that Red Harlow has, which are some iconic scars across his face. And you would assume that if Uncle was...
So here's my theory about that, right? Is because they wanted the main character, because I like, you know, of Red Dead Redemption to be John Marston. They literally basically based that character off of Red Dead Revolver. Because if you look at John Marston and the Red Harlow, they're literally almost identical, right? Scars and everything. So I think what they did was they just rebranded it to John Marston and then created this whole, you know, new kind of universe, right? And just used the old character design, right? But I just think that there's just so many more similarities with Uncle than there isn't. Like I think the red bandana thing is one of the big ones.
Red Harlow, he would have those distinct scars, just like how John Marston has his distinct scars in Red Dead Redemption 2 and in Red Dead Redemption. So unfortunately, I just think there's one too many differences here for him to be Red Harlow, but it definitely wouldn't be surprising if there was some connection here, especially with the weird things that Uncle says about being the one-shot kid. Maybe he knew about the tale and he just, you know, gave himself that own nickname, which would have been kind of weird, but who knows? Uncle's a strange character. Maybe that's just the sort of thing he does. But anyways, that right there is the mystery of the legendary bounty hunter, Red Harlow, and
let's see if they
Red Dead Redemption
show
2.
it again.
And
right there, boom. The red bandana, right? That's another thing. That's like the main thing that would Red Harlow used, right? So that to me is another. It's a small coincidence, right? And then the other thing is if you go into like the characters, like the character mod thing, whatever, and you like zoom up on this hand, right? Like if you look at this hand compared to this hand, now I don't know, like, you know, like these are like one of these are like, this is more like a stretch thing, but it always seems like this hand here is never clean or whatever. It always kind of has a darker texture, and it's almost clear. It could be shadowing in this one, but it's almost clear, right? It's almost like he picked up the freaking rifle with the right hand and shot, you know, the dude, right? So I don't know. I just think that's interesting. So that would be super cool if freaking Uncle was actually the Red Harlow. That'd be so cool. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was a little fun thing. I figured, you know, something to look into. But yeah, good old Red Harlow. Maybe just it's like I think there's more coincidences that make it where it's more plausible than it is. There are more things that not make it right. Because you don't know, like there he could have just became, you know, he just tired of all the bull crap. He just became just a drunk, lovable guy. You know, that's who his uncle. His uncle. And you can also make the argument that because he has such a thick beard, that it's hard to see those scars. Yeah. Anyways, let me go ahead and link the videos. Mr. Boss FTW is the one that we watched the main documentary on. I've seen a couple of his already. Love his work, actually. This one here is more like a silent film, but I did really enjoy it too, like because he goes into a little bit more like stats and stuff like that. Pretty interesting stuff. Yeah. And this guy is called Hounds and Royals. Yeah. Pretty interesting stuff. Anyways, guys, I am going to take a very small break. I think I might jump into RedM just to kind of get everything preloaded, kind of see how everything is going. And then kind of get ready for, you know, the 6 o'clock storm and kind of just go be Toothpick and see if anybody's going to be around and all that jazz. So, anyways, yeah, so I shall be back. Let's go ahead and exit out all this. All right. And let's go ahead and put a little music on. Alrighty. We're going to get back into it here in a second. Ooh, yeah.